rickety chicken. Top of the day, beautiful people. Top of the day. Robert Betswabu. All right, beautiful people. Happy Tuesday. It is happy Tuesday. It is a multiple Tuesday. It's the day Tuesday, like Monday, Tuesday. And it is also February, the second month, but it's also the 22nd of the second month of the year 2022. Happy Tuesday, beautiful people. Auntie, grand rising. Dana, you come in yet? I have read your comment. I literally just clicked on my messages. You probably saw me just open it up. I'm gonna have to respond to it after we're done here. Where she at? I don't think she came in yet. All right, beautiful people. Let's go ahead and get started. Shalom, Francis. Shalom. Okay, so let's get started real quick. I'm running a few minutes behind. Obedient to Yah. Shalom. Let's see. Let's pull this up. Man, y'all know something? Y'all know what I despise. I despise a thief. I despise a liar and a thief. Marcus, big fella, seeing me. Guess what we found out yesterday? Me and James had come walking in the house, and we got a notification that we had just ordered DoorDash, right? I'm not just ordering DoorDash. We just ordered DoorDash. So I clicked on it because clearly we had ordered DoorDash. I'll order groceries and stuff like that, but we didn't just order DoorDash. So I just opened up. I thought, okay, it probably is like a marketing email or something like that, like they normally send out. No, it wasn't. It looked like we had just ordered DoorDash, right? So I opened it up. I was like, and ordered it through PayPal. I was like, what? So I opened it up and it comes from our joint email. I'm like, wait a minute. Then I was about to call Jeremiah because we got him hooked up on our Apple plan, but that was the first thing that came to mind. Maybe it was Jeremiah. He went in there and I was like, no, because he has his own PayPal account. And normally when you lock in your information from your phone, it's that unless you sign out and sign in with another account. So I was like, let me just double check before I start hollering, taking off heads. I opened it up, see what the DoorDash went to. It went to somebody in Massachusetts. I'm like, oh, heck no. So I logged in and I looked, I'm like, and they paid for it with our PayPal account? How in the world did they pay for it from my PayPal? I was like, we don't even use this PayPal account. This was a PayPal account that we created like in we in the 2000s, like early 2000s, but we never, ever used it. So I logged in. But we had used it for one thing because it was connected to our current bank account, but it's been so long ago. So I went in there, looked at the transaction, and not only was it one transaction, apparently we haven't been paying attention to our emails. It was transactions, and neither have we. I guess they were so small that we really, they're not so small, but probably should have been paying closer attention to our bank account as well, because they had been charging DoorDash all the way back to December the 15th. And they had a big day. They ordered DoorDash 3 times. So whoever they was buying DoorDash, and apparently it's not just for them. It looked like it's for multiple people because, unless you just are greedy, you ain't spending like $50 and $70 on DoorDash, although I can see how it could if you add up the delivery fee and all this other stuff and you get snacks for later, right? So I goes to open it up, and transactions starting um from December the 15th, coming all the way up to the current day, actually December the 18th. It went up to, not December the 18th, I'm sorry, February the 18th, because it pins for a couple days before it actually settles the account. Oh my gosh, I completely went off. And so, look, I'm like, you know what? First of all, after I changed the password to the I had to go in and look for the password. I got a password keeper. I had to go in and look for the password to the PayPal before I actually logged in to see what it was. That's how you tell you how long it's been since we used it. I forgot the password for it. So I found the password, opened up. That's when I saw all these transactions for DoorDash. Somebody eating good off our dime up here in Massachusetts, my G. I'm like, hold on. So then I was trying to submit all of them as fraudulent, but then it was like PayPal was acting crazy. So I had to call them and let them know. I was like, first of all, if you're looking at our address and you look at anything that's being delivered, it's always being delivered to Virginia. I said, we don't even know anybody in Massachusetts. Whoever this person is, I said, they're an idiot. I said, because it's being delivered to their house. The first time they delivered it, they put a fictitious name. I know it's a fictitious name because it's Juju Bean. Right? Ain't nobody name their child Juju Bean. That may be a nickname, but that's not their real name. But it's going to this address right here. And then you look at the multiple transactions after Juju Bean ordered the first DoorDash to his door, or maybe the neighbor's door, just to see who it is. It's going to the same address. Then they began to put their real name up there at that same address. So I reported all of them. Thankfully, PayPal and our bank, they canceled the card, issued a new card. They reimbursed all of the transactions. It was almost $600 on DoorDash, y'all. Every transaction was like $50, $70. Like on Valentine's Day, one $70 transaction and two $50 transactions. None of them was under $50, right? But it added up to almost like $600. Y'all talking about somebody big mad. That's a little bit of money. I was so mad. I was like, I'm glad y'all gave us our money back, but I'm still a little pissed because it's like a violation. I feel like that it made me feel like when somebody break into your house, and it's been a while since somebody broke into a house. Ain't nobody broke into a house since I was like in high school, right? But it makes you feel violated, right? But then I went checking I have this my FICO, and it lets you know when there's been like a password dump or something, or some kind of thief got a hold of something. And I realized, okay, anytime this comes through, because a few days prior, it did say that some of my passwords were found on the black market. And I'm not sure how my passwords got found on the black market where I am. Some hacker out there to figure out how to hack into apps and stuff, so I had to go in. I was like, you know what? Had I paid heed to that, so it's probably, well, no, because that was a few days ago, and they had been hacking into it using our account for DoorDash since December. But I just got that, so I think I may have to go back to changing all my passwords like every 3 months or so. It's kind of a hassle, but what if they didn't give us all that money back? I would have really been pissed. And you know what I did? I was like, you know what? I'm calling the police station. I'm putting in a police report because that's identity theft and they're stealing from me. They may not do nothing, but I'm still putting a report. You know what I did? I Googled the address. I told my husband, I say, I ought to send them a scary note telling somebody about to come beat their tail for stealing people money. I was just going to put in their address and not put a return address. I was like, no, against my better judgment, I'm going to just report them to the police. So I called the police. I put in their address that was in there that all the door dashes were going to. And I said, closest police station to this address right here. It was one couple blocks away. I got the number and I called. I said, yes. I was checking my bank account and I just found out that somebody who lives there close to your police station, mind you, has been stealing money from my bank account via a password that they stole, blah, 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 blah. He said, oh, okay, ma'am. He said, this is what you have to do. You have to go to your local police station and report it to them, and then they'll reach out to us, and then we'll take the case on. I said, okay, thank you very much. But I figured I'd jump the gun. Look, y'all need to go get them right now, because if they doing it to us, I'm sure they doing it to other people. They got other people passwords. And so them days that they didn't order DoorDash from us, I'm sure they was ordering DoorDash on somebody else's dime. Boy, I was so heated. I'm still heated when I think about it. You know, I don't know how long it's going to be before they catch this nefarious person whose first name is Lance, possibly, but somebody living at that address that's getting them DoorDashes. And I'm just like, breathe, Pam. You changed the password. They gave you a new card, and you got all your money back, every bit of it. I'm like, but still, I despise a liar and I despise a thief, right? How you know you weren't stealing from an old lady, right? How you know that? How you know you ain't get the password to somebody's child's little bank account that they saving their little money for to go buy this Victoria game system? Like, y'all tell I'm mad about this. Let me go ahead and do this call to commitment. It's found in Deuteronomy chapter 6. A call for wholehearted commitment. These are the commands, decrees, and regulations that the Lord your God commanded me to teach you. You must obey them in the land you're about to enter and occupy, and you and your children and grandchildren must fear the Lord your God as long as you live. If you obey all his decrees and commands, you will enjoy a long life. Listen closely, Israel, and be careful to obey. Then all will go well with you, and you will have many children in the land flowing with milk and honey, just as the Lord, the God of your ancestors, promised you. And I'm kind of pissed about this password, y'all, because this is a password that I created. Nobody could crack this password. Somebody done cracked the password. It's been leaked in this whole password dump stealing thing where they got it from. Now I got to change my most favorite password. I probably should have changed it because I've been using it for years. Yahuwah is one. Shalom, shalom. Oh, great spirit, creator of all spirits, good and bad. Yes, let us bring our spirit into the oneness of you and praise you. Shayla, hey girl, hey, great rising. Listen, oh Israel. The Lord is our God, the Lord is one. And you must love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your strength. And you must commit yourselves wholeheartedly to these commands that I am giving you today. Repeat them again and again to your children. Talk about them when you're at home and when you're on the road, when you're going to bed and when you're getting up. Tie them to your hands and wear them on your forehead as reminders. Write them on the doorpost of your house and on your gates. The Lord your God will soon bring you into the land he swore to give to you when he made a vow to your ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It is a land with large, prosperous cities that you did not build. The houses will be richly stocked with goods you did not produce. You will draw water from cisterns you did not dig, and you will eat from vineyards and olive trees you did not plant. Excuse me. When you have eaten your fill in this land, be careful not to forget the Lord who rescued you from slavery in the land of Egypt. You must fear the Lord your God and serve him. When you take an oath, you must only use his name. You must not worship any of the gods of the neighboring nations, for the Lord your God who lives among you is a jealous God. His anger will flare up against you, and he will wipe you from the face of the earth. You must not test the Lord your God as you did when you complained at Massa. You must diligently obey the commands of the Lord your God, all the laws and decrees he has given you. Do what is right and good in the Lord's sight, so all will go well with you. Then you will enter and occupy the good land that the Lord swore to give to your ancestors. You would drive out all the enemies living in the land, just as the Lord said you would. In the future, your children will ask you, what is the meaning of these laws, decrees, and regulations that the Lord our God has commanded us to obey? Then you must tell them, we were Pharaoh's slaves in Egypt, but the Lord brought us out of Egypt with his strong hand. The Lord did miraculous signs and wonders before our eyes, dealing terrifying blows against Egypt and Pharaoh and all his people. He brought us out of Egypt so he could give us this land he had sworn to give to our ancestors, and the Lord our God commanded us to obey all these decrees and to fear him, so that he can continue to bless us and preserve our lives as he has done to this day. For we will be counted as righteous when we obey all the commands the Lord our God has given unto us. All right, beautiful people. All right, so let's hop back over here. Mom, shalom, shalom. You know what? That's the second time this happened to us. The first time it was a few years ago. And I think it was the same way, possibly. It was I don't know. It may have been we were traveling because we used to see these little specials on how people had these credit card scanners. Like if you had your credit card or something in your pocket, whatever scanner they had was able to scan it from your purse if they got close enough to you. Because I'm not sure how they actually got my credit card number. And this was our business credit card. Our business credit card number with the number on the front and on the back with the dates and maybe I think yeah, I'm not sure how they did it because you would have had to put in our our zip code and stuff. So unless they were doing online ordering. And this is when we found out about this restaurant called Benihana in Atlanta. And we saw our business account. Somebody had a good time. They had a good day out, right? And I only caught that, and that probably tell me I need to keep a closer eye on the finances literally going through our thing because we'll just go purchase what we need, we won't be worried about if it's gonna be enough there or not. But there's still thieves in this world that don't care about you and what you got going on. As long as they can get something from you, they're gonna take it. They ain't gonna feel bad about it, right? So it tells me I need to keep a closer watch on stuff and literally probably every week sit there and go through our transactions and make sure we're the only one that's charging transactions. But I was looking at it because I was actually balancing books for the business and I was looking, I was like, Benihana. I'm like, what is Benihana? I'm like, babe, what's Benihana? He was like, I don't know. And so I Googled it. I was like, it's a restaurant. And I was like, well, no, James ain't even been out of town from when this was. I was like, because this day, I knew who was that on this day. I was like, wait a minute. What? I said, did you purchase something online or something? He said, nope, not from nothing called Benihana. He said, Google it and see if there's, because we thought maybe, because you know how you purchase stuff from places and you look at the credit card transaction, it's a whole different name. It's maybe like their company's legal name. So we figured it was something we had ordered and their legal name was like Benihana or something like that. So I looked up, I said, oh no, Benihana is a name and it's a restaurant. Linda, hey girl, hey. And so I'm like, whoever charged this, if this is in fact the place, they sure had a good time at Benihana because they spent like $300 in one day. And not only that, they must have been on a date because after they left there, they went to Starbucks and then they went to some movie. I'm like, some little thieving legend. I said, and I don't know how they got a y'all. People are so deceitful. Not all people, but some people thieves. When they thieve today, they really thieve and they charge. I'm just glad it wasn't a charge for more than that. It's some little petty thief, right? But of course, we put in what you call it. We got new cards, changed passwords. I'm not sure how they actually got the full credit card number and the expiration date and the pin code and stuff on the back and the zip code number. I'm like, could this be somebody we know? I was like, no, nobody we know would have access to that information. I don't know how they got it. Still to this day, I don't really know how. I'm sure some smart technical way where they was able to get it. But I do appreciate that the banks refund you your money on fraudulent charges and stuff like that. But that's been a while since that's happened. And I thought we had everything kind of locked tight, but then they got us on the personal side. I'm like, oh, okay, we got to do a little bit better about our security around our money. Okay, y'all. Forgive me, I just had to get it out, but it just is really burning my buttons. I hate people that steal. What? Yeah. Francis, I'm sorry that happened to you. I just got hit on my debit card the other day for $198. My last two, my bank filed a fraudulent report, have to wait 7 business days to get my money back. I'm so sorry, Francis. I hate people that are dishonest. Oh my gosh. Yeah, and then the banks make you wait that whole period, right? I just man. May y'all bless you with whatever you need during this time while you wait for that money to come back. Okay, y'all. Okay, so we paused on page 54 and it was at the question, what is this? So, okay. So this is going through the Egyptian book of dead names. And it before it actually started that, it gave the Babylonian Anunnaki, original Sumerian, and the Anunnaki names found on the prayer tablet. So it gave each individual name, like Anu and Antu. Antu, remember, is his wife. And it went through what his name meant and everything that relates to him in a few verses. And we ended up here on page 54. So it's asking a question and it's going on to tell you exactly what it is. And it goes on like this, asking a couple different questions for the next couple pages. Okay. What is this? It is Ra Stu, which is to say the southern gate of Ner Rutef and the northern gate of the Great Tomb. The location of the island of Ma'ati is in Abtu, and then the brackets it has Abzu in parentheses. Others will say that it is the path of Father Tim to Sekhet Aru, at the place which produces the cattle and grain foods and of sustenance of the gods who reside in their shrines. As to the Chesert's gate, it is the gate of the pillars of Shu, meaning the northern gate of Tuwat, and that means dead souls or Kutha. Others will say that the Tessert gate are in fact those double doors of heaven by which the god Tim passes. Remember, Tim is Tem. When he comes forth, emerging from the eastern horizon of the sky. Holy assembly of the gods that behold the presence of Osiris, accept me into your arms. I am the risen God who comes forth to be among your company. Who are these gods? Remember all these gods that they're mentioning, these names that we notice from ancient Egypt, these are none other than the Anunnaki who have taken on new names that they use in Egypt. Who are these gods? Coming forth, they are the drops of blood from the phallus of Ra. Remember, Ra is Marduk. After such a time, when he performs self mutilation, these drops of blood first sprang into being and were the forms of the gods of Hu and Sa, and who are the guards of Ra, and who accompany the god Tim on his daily journey. Coming forth, I have filled the Chat eye of Ra. After such a time, it had been wounded during the combat of the two fighters, Horus and Set. What is the nature of this combat? The fierce combat between Horus and Set, during which Set threw dirt in the face of Horus, and Horus crushed the member or genitals of Set. So remember, that was the fight between who was that? That was a fight between who got the penis crushed? It was in the Lost Book of Inky. I forget who it was, but it was a fight between them two, which their names have been turned into Horus and Set. Okay. During which Set threw dirt in the face of Horus, and Horus crushed the member or genitals of Set. Thoth performed the filling of the Chat eye of Ra. Coming forth, I have removed the thundercloud from the sky on the day when there is a storm with thundering and lightning. What is this? The storm itself was the anger of Ra made manifest, and the thundercloud is what Set used against the right eye of Ra. It was Thoth who removed the thundercloud from the eye of Ra and brought the eye of Ra back to living, healthy and sound status. Others will say that the thundercloud was caused by sickness of Ra. The right eye of Ra, the sun, which weeps for its companion, the left eye of Ra, the moon, and at this time Thoth cleansed the right eye of Ra. I behold the risen Ra, born anew yesterday from the thighs of the goddess Mehert. The strength of Ra is my strength, and my strength is his. Who is this goddess? Mehert is the goddess of the great celestial water, but others will say that she is the image of the eye of Ra at dawn. Others will say that Mehert is the Chat eye of Ra. Great am I among the procession of Horus, they who say that he is a prince who truly loves his Lord. Who are the gods who are in the procession of Horus? Their names are Kesta, Hapti, Tawu Mutef, and Kebu Sinuf. Hail to you, lords of righteousness and truth. Hail to you, sovereign Chatcha, princes who guard Osiris, who absolve the sins and offenses, who follow the goddess Hetep Sekhush. Open the way that I may come among you, annihilate any iniquity that is within me, as you have for the seven spirits who serve their Lord Sepa. Anpu, or Anubis, has allotted them their station when he said, "Come forth." Who are the lords of righteousness and truth? Okay. So now I'm understanding these questions. So with each paragraph, and the questions are actually in italics. So as they began to translate this and they began to understand what it was, they broke up the paragraphs with questions. And the question that was being asked is something that was just mentioned in the above paragraph, which after the question is asked, it gives the explanation of what that was in the paragraph below. Okay. So, who are the gods in the procession of Horus? Their names are Kesta, Hapi, Tawuf, Mutef, and Kebu Sinuf. Hail to you, lords of righteousness and truth. Hail to you, sovereign T'Challa, princes who guard, and that T is probably silent. I learned that from different African languages and Bantu languages that the T, it goes like T'Challa, right? Well, you kind of say T'Challa from, whatever. But it's possible that it's silent, but it's possible it might be pronounced like T'Challa, right? It actually says, "Hail to you, sovereign T'Challa, princes who guard Osiris." I'm sorry, anybody here that speaks Bantu languages, if I didn't just screw that up. It's not on purpose. It's because I'm ignorant of it, don't really know how to say it. So bear with us, sister. Help me out if you know the proper pronunciation. Hail to you, sovereign T'Challa, prince who guards Osiris, who absolve the sins and offenses, who follow the goddess Hetep Sekhush. Open the way that I may come among you, annihilate any iniquity that is within me, as you have for the seven spirits who serve their Lord Sepa. Anpu, Anubis, has allotted them their stations when he said, "Come forth." Who are the lords of righteousness and truth? The lords of righteousness and truth are Thoth and Astis, and the Lord of Amentet. The T'Challa gathered about Osiris. Their names are Keshta, Hapi, Ta Muftet, and Kebhusinuf. I know Hapi is like a region or a river also in the upper region of Africa. And they are also gathered around the constellation of the bull's thigh, the great bear in the northern sky, those who absolve the sins and offenses, and who are in the service of the goddess Hetep Sekhus, including the Sebek and his associates who dwell in the water. The goddess Hetep Sekhus is the eye of Ra. Others will say that it is a flame, that which accompanies Osiris when he burns the souls of his enemies. Concerning the iniquities of Osiris, these are recorded by the registrar of the offerings, the records of all the sacrifices which have ever made to any of the gods, which have ever made to any of the gods. And any offenses committed by men are known to the Lord's, and any offenses committed by men are known to the Lords of eternity from the day which they come forth from the mother's womb. As concerning the seven spirits, the names are Kesta, Hapi, Tawuf, Mutef, Keb Hesinuf, Ma'atef, Karibek, and Heru Kinti in Ariti. The seven spirits Anubis appointed to be protectors of the dead body of Osiris, he commanded. Others will say that he placed them around the shrine of Osiris. The seven spirits appointed by Anubis are also known by other names. These are some who named them Neket, and Tekhet, Ner Tanef, Bisef, can what? I'm gonna screw all these up, so forgive me ahead of time. I'm already doing it. Bisef and this. Hold on. Okay, let me go back and 1, 2, 3. They're long. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Nek, net, netche, netche. This first one. Aktehik ket. Ner tenef bisef kenti hef. Akher ami unuft. Tesher ariti ami het anes. And uis her per ekhet tekhet. Oh. And finally, Ma'am Ker Anaf M. Haru, the chief of the Cha-Cha princes who reside in Narutef. The chief is Horus, the advocate to the Father. When Anubis said to the seven spirits to come forth, Anubis did as Ra, when to Osiris he spoke to come forth. May these words be said unto me coming forth in the Amentet. I am the divine soul which dwells within the divine twin gods. Who is this divine soul? The divine soul is Osiris. When he came forth into Titu, he found the soul of Ra, and the one God embraced the other. The two divine souls spring into being within and as divine twin gods. Concerning the divine twin gods are generally known by the names Heru Netcher, Her Tifet, and Heru Kent in Ariti, which is to say, Horus the advocate of Osiris and Horus the blind. Others will say that this is the divine soul within the divine twin gods, is the soul of Ra and the soul of Osiris. Others will say that it is the soul of Shu and the soul of Tefnut. These souls form the double divine soul which dwells in Titu. I am the cat which fought near the tree in Anu, the night when the enemies of Neber Techer were destroyed. Who is this cat? This male cat is Ra himself, called Mau. So remember, Marduk is taking on a bunch of different names. Okay. This male cat is Ra himself. This cat and Ra and Marduk are the same people, right? Okay. Some of the other ones I forget, but I can readily remember Marduk. This male cat is Ra himself, called Mau, because of the speech made of the god Sa, and therefore the name of Ra became Mau. Others will say that the male cat is the god Shu, the one who gave over the possessions of Keb to Osiris. Concerning the fight which took place near the tree in Anu, such was a day of bloodshed to the children of rebellion for their evil. The night of the battle, the children of rebellion invaded. The eastern gate of heaven was infiltrated, and a great battle arose in heaven and stretched forth upon the earth. Hail to thee, rising in the egg of Ra and the winged disk. Hail to thee who Hail to thee who rises on the horizon. Hail to thee who shines golden rays down from the heights of heaven. Hail to thee who is like none other, who sails above the pillars of Shu, and who sends forth blasts of fire from your mouth, and who blesses the two land with your grandeur, and who delivers Nebsini to Osiris from the unknown God whose form remains hidden, whose eyebrows are the arms of balance, on the night of judgment when the sentences are executed. Who is this invisible God? It is the bringer of his arm, and Aft. The night of judgment is the night of the burning of the damned, and of the overthrow of the wicked, and of the bloodshed of the rebellion. Who is this? Who is this? Who is this leads against this bloodshed? That's what it says. I think it's supposed to be that, but who is this leads against this bloodshed? It is Sheshmu, the general of Osiris, the unknowable and invisible God. Well, some say that it is the risen Apept, possessing the feather of Ma'at. Others say that it is the risen Horus with two heads, one being the feather of Ma'at and the other the feather of wickedness. Others say it is Amun Ra, who was closed up in the pyramid, which is still Marduk. Amun was one of his names. Ra was one of his names. Put them together, still the same person. He was the one who was locked inside the pyramid, right? Others say it is Amun Ra, who was closed up in the pyramid. Others say it is old Horus, Haru, who dwells in Sekhem. And still others say that it is Thoth, and others, Nefertim or Set, fighters of the enemies of Nebuchadnezzar. Deliver the scribe Nebsini, speaker of truth, from watchers, the watchers with the murderous swords, who possess the icy hands of death, and who would slay those who are in service to Osiris. May these watchers never again gain May these watchers never again gain power over me, and may their blades never cut my body. Who are these watchers? They are Anubis and Horus the blind. Others will say that they are the T'Challa princes of Osiris. And others will say that they are the chiefs of the Shinu chamber. May their blades never gain hold of me. May I never fall to them who will inflict the cruel tortures. For I know their names and natures, and I too, Matchet, who was among them, in the house of Osiris. Being invisible, he shoots rays of light out of his eye. He travels the heavens, robbed in flames coming from his mouth. May I be strong on earth before Ra. May I come forth safely to the princes of, I'm sorry, may I come forth safely to the presence of Osiris. Hail to you who preside over the altars of offering. Let not your sacrifices be in short supply. For I am a servant in the line of Nebuchadnezzar, according to the covenant set forth by the writings of Khepera. Coming forth, allow me to fly like a hawk and cackle like a goose, but let me always be akin to the serpent goddess Heheb-Ka. Who is it that presides over the altars of offering? They are the unification of the Eye of Ra, the Eye of Horus. Hail to thee, Ra-Tim, Lord of the mansion in Anu. Hail to thee, sovereign life, Ankh of all companies of gods. Deliver your scribe, Nepsini, who speaks truth. Deliver him from the gods whose face is like a dark hound. The unseen one watches at the nook of the lake of fire, Unt, waiting to devour bodies of the dead and swallow their hearts. So remember, all this started being created after everything else was destroyed except for Babylon, and Marduk was in charge of everything. Under his rule, all these tablets and everything began being made. As he was referring to some of the previous Anunnaki who had left and it was no longer their reign, he began to take on all their names, right, and everything. Who is this dark hound faced God? He is known as Eternal Devourer, living in the realm of flame, the domain of fire. It is At in Narutef, near the Shinu. A sinner who enters this place falls to the swords of the watchers. Others will say that the name of this god is Matis, the watcher of the gate of Amentet. And others will say that the name is Biba, the watcher of the nook of the stream of Amentet. And still others will say that the name is Her-Sepeth. Hail to thee, Lord of terror, chief of the two lands. Hail to thee, Lord of the desert, who prepares the block for the slaughter and who feeds on the insides of men. And in the church, we would probably refer to that as hell, right? It's all stemming back here. Who is this Lord of terror? It is the guardian of the nook of the stream of Amentet. Who is this guardian? It is the very heart of Osiris, which devours the essence of all the slaughtered things. It is to him that the earth's crown has been given, making him the Lord of Hensu. Who is this? The one bearing the earth crown, Lord of Hensu, who is Osiris. He was given power to rule among the gods on the day of the union of earth with earth in the presence of Nebuchadnezzar. Who is this? He is the one given power to rule among the gods, son of Isis, appointed to rule in the room of his father Osiris, As to the day of the union of earth with earth, it is the union of earth with earth in the coffin of Osiris, the soul that lives in Hensu, the giver of meat and ale and destroyer of all wrong, and who is the guide to the eternal journey. Okay, let me go back real quick. Okay, let's see something. Maybe I didn't go back far enough because all these names are already ascribed them to the different watchers. I'm just had to go back. I'm gonna see if I can because just like I remember Marduk, I want to remember the other ones. I'll go back and do that and match up the names so we can know which what we know in Nana is Isis. Okay, I'll do that later. I got to go back because it's just now it's giving the more updated names for all the Anunnaki, and I forget all of them except for Marduk's titles. But it's all the other ones. Okay, who is this? It is Ra himself, and of the ones who accompany him in this journey, it is Suti. Others will say that it is Smamar, the very soul of Keb. Hail to thee, Kephira, in the boat. Hail to the two companies of the gods who assemble with you. Deliver your scribe who speaks truth from the watchers who execute the judgments of the doom on souls, who are commanded by the Never Techer to protect him, and there is no escape from their grasp. Protect me, who has never done the things which the gods hate. Coming forth, I am he who is pure in the Mesket chamber. Who is this? It is Kephira in his boat, and it is Ra himself. The watchers who execute judgments are the eight Isis and Nephthys. The things the gods hate are acts of lying and cheating. We just talking about that, not cheating. They hate it too. Look. Let me bring my mind back. We almost done. This is literally like the last page. This is the last little bit on this page. And we're going to end because tablet B starts right here. Let me go back. It is Kephira in his boat, and it is Ra himself. The watchers who execute judgments are the eight Isis and the Nephthys. The things the gods hate are acts of lying and cheating. He who comes forth to the place of purification, the place within Mesket chamber, is Anubis, who stands by the jar containing the insides of the body of Osiris, he to whom cakes of offering have been sacrificed in Tanit to Osiris. Others will say that the cakes in Tanit are indicative of heaven and earth, and still others say that they symbolize Shu, the strengthener of the two lands in Hinsu, and still others say that they represent the eye of Horus, and that Tanit is the burial place of the body of Osiris. Tim has built the high house, and the double lion god lays the foundation of your habitation. Horus purifies and strengthens Set. Set purifies and strengthens Horus. Turn back, Rehu, whose mouth shines and whose head moves. Turn back from the unseen one who keeps watch. Coming forth, guard and protect your scribe of true words, the mortals you keep in darkness, you who is followed by fear. The sisters Isis and Nephthys are given over to you for fun. You have created what is in Ker Aha and what is in Anu. You who were great and terrible, feared by gods above and below, with arrows you avenge every god that has been cursed by men. You live in accordance with your will alone. Hail Utachet, the lady of the flame, and let evil come to those who set raise themselves against you. Yeah, that's what I say. And let evil come to those who set themselves against you. Who is this? That which is hidden Gift of Menhu is the name of the tomb. The Karu is the one who sees what is shown on his hand. The mouth which shines and head that moves is the phallus of Osiris. And yet others will say that it is the phallus of Ra. Utachet, the lady of the flames, is the eye of Ra. And that is the end of tablet A. And so we're going to pause right here at the 45-minute mark here on the tablets, and we're going to hop on over to my big toe. Oh, that's flipped over the wrong way. Okay, so my page. All right, y'all. So I hope y'all enjoyed that a little bit. The next tablet it's tablet B, but it's called Book of the Babylon Stargates. Okay. All right, so we also start a new chapter in my big toe, chapter 24. I know I posted late, but I posted it, y'all. I was trying to do it from my laptop, but my laptop wouldn't let me copy and paste. I actually had to go to my phone and do it in smaller increments and break it up. For those who wanted the meditation instructions, I posted it in the community section tab here on YouTube, and I just made a separate post on Facebook, so you'll see it if you're looking for it. Look for meditation instructions, and on YouTube in the community sections, it's broken up into 6 parts. All right, so at the end of each part, it say to be continued, part 2, 3, 4, all the way to part 6. Right, and then when you get to the end of part 6, it lets you know where the whole excerpt parts 1 through 6 were taken from in my big toe, which is chapter 23. Right, okay, just in case you need a refresher on what to do, just to give you some examples, if you are not already in the habit of meditation, it's there. You don't have to use it as like a Bible, so to speak, but it's kind of just get you started. You got to find out what works for you. Yahuwah is one. I know, right? Yahuwah is one. They said, with so many gods, let's hope we worship our true creator. That's what we're trying to get to, right? Clearly we still moving. So here's what I believe at this point. I believe the true creator knows that we're searching for the true creator. We're trying to understand and wade through all the garbage and all the stories, trying to make sure that we are aligned completely with the one and only true creator. But as it's coming to this point, we'll call him, I still refer to the creator as Yahuwah. Yah, right? Hallelujah. All praises to Yah, or the great creator, right? We're hoping, at least in our thoughts, what we believe, it's the great creator, the creator of all, right? But it still kind of seems as we're going through stuff, everything, at least the pieces of information that we have, is connected to one of these Anunnaki gods, right? So it's like, okay, maybe I have been ignorantly worshiping Enki, Enlil, possibly even Marduk in the beginning stages. That was not my, which is why I can joke about it so much now, because I realized, okay, I was misguided a little bit here, and it looks like my praises were being misdirected to Marduk, when in my mind I'm thinking I'm praising and worshiping the creator of heaven and earth, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But now we find out that the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob is not the creator of all. It's the creator of one of the Anunnakis, right? The Anunnaki, one of the Anunnaki, well, a few of the Anunnaki, according to the stories that we currently have, are the creators of this particular lineage. And it's like, oh shoot, okay, well, okay, you know what I meant though. We still trying to figure it out. We just call him the creator of all. And I just say him by default. Him, talking about the creator, we know all energies, male and female, come out of the one true creator. It's comprised of both. Here in this realm, the bigger part of the creator is split up into different pieces. So I'm the female energy, and we have our male counterparts, which is why when you come together, you get like this wholeness with the male and female energy together becoming as one. Right? So by default, because I'm used to it, I grew up in a Christian church in the Western world, I refer to the creator as he. But when I say that, understand that when I say he, it encompasses male and female all together, right? I'm not as ignorant today as I was before, thinking that it's all male energy. That's one-sided and it's incomplete. It is one-sided and incomplete because that is not even how we operate here, right? If we understood that, we would understand that our language is a bit off, right? And we're learning, so don't beat us over the head. We still waiting through this. I'm with you. Who is one? And I know there's more than one person over there. That's a group of people that's actually watched. Now I'm with y'all. We're hoping that we're worshiping the one true creator, which is what we're trying to get to. And as of today, what I understand, I mentioned it before. I don't believe, I don't really think at this point that the creator of all, the one true creator of all this, I don't think he hell bent on us worshiping him, right? Now stick with me with what I'm about to say. I think the creator energy is more interested in us growing and learning about who we are and the place where we've been put. And so we can continue to elevate and I guess rejoin the power. I think we've all that's what I believe. I really at this point I don't believe. Although I ain't gonna knock you for doing it, and you get strength and you get recharged. You go, you worship and stuff, and that's cool because I still do. But my outlook on it is a little bit different. I think of it more as in my time of worship. I think it more as a recharging, so to speak. Not necessarily I got to give you all and everything because that I don't believe that's what the Creator desires at this point. And there's a lot of other stuff that I haven't brought in yet with all the different pieces. I don't really believe that's what, like, you're the creator of all. Do you really mean to tell me that you need to create something to tell you how good and amazing you are? That's not why you create things. Think about inventors. They don't create things to just give me praise. I mean, people, some people here do, right? They're human and they're flawed and they're ignorant, just to say the least, right? But true creators don't create things like we don't create robots and stuff just to worship us and tell us how good of a human we are. No, we create them to I guess you can say we create things to solve problems, right? And I think we were created to solve problems and like evolve. Not that y'all get what I'm saying. I'm just trying to put it into words. I just really don't think at this point in my life that the creator is sitting up there. If you don't worship me, you're going to hell. I really don't believe that anymore. It's it's counterproductive to being a creator in creation, right? I don't really believe that like I did before, right? And although I praise y'all and I thank him for creating me, why did you create me? What are we really doing here? We were created to evolve and develop, not just physically but also in consciousness, our understanding of everything around us, like what we're doing now in the meditation and how your conscious is being developed. Dane, I saw you just came in, or maybe it just popped up, but I watched that last night and I didn't finish reading your comment because I clicked on it and was about to start the video. I'm gonna answer it in a minute, but it blew my mind. If y'all get a chance, go watch this movie. Well, if you've been in a habit already of meditating, I would say go watch this because you might catch what's being thrown out there. It's called what is it? It's a wrinkle in the hold on, I didn't already screwed it up. A wrinkle in the time Dana, what's the title? Wrinkle in the time span, wrinkle in the time. Hold on, y'all. I'm gonna give y'all this. Dana, what's the title? I think it's a wrinkle in the time phase or something, but it's on Amazon. Y'all gotta go watch it. What is it? Because you have this movie, a wrinkle in time, but this is called a wrinkle in the time zone, time watch. It's time span something. Hold on. She may not hear. Hold on. Let me pull it up. Y'all gotta go watch this. It's on Amazon Prime. Wrinkle in time. What? No, I think I'm typing it wrong because it ain't coming up. Hold on. Let me go to Amazon. Hold on. Y'all gotta watch this. You know what? Hold on. It's gonna pause Facebook. I know I can get it from real quick. Hold on. I just go to her text. Oh, it's called Needle in a Time Stack. I had it all screwed up. Okay. It's called Needle in a Timestack. Hold on, let me pull it up. Yeah, that's why I couldn't get it. I had the wrong. Hold on. Let me pull it up. Y'all gotta go see this. And it came out in 2021. I never seen it. I'll put the trailer up here for you so y'all can see it. Hold on. Okay. Why can't I copy this? Let's do it this way. This is crazy. I don't know why that's doing that. Hold on, y'all. I'm gonna put this. We're gonna start reading. Needle and oh, there we go. I had to go right to YouTube. I was trying to do it on Google. Okay. Let me share this with y'all. Copy.
What do you think about when you think about us?
Okay. But it was quite interesting. Hold on. Here we go. Let me post it up here. When y'all get a chance, go watch that. And it's quite interesting. Some things that they're bringing out about like meditation and everything. I'm like, so now when I'm seeing it, because I've actually been experiencing it, I'm like, wait a minute, y'all. They clearly, we're the latecomers to the party. They've been knowing this for eons, and they've been doing movies about it. Movies I never thought about, where they're talking about like going into different worlds, and they're talking about time traveling and stuff. It's like it's something to this. I still don't quite have it all, but based on my personal understanding of what is happening, and how I know you can manipulate your dreams if it's a dream, or you can do astral projection, and that's like the new age term, but in the church world, we're familiar with out of body experiences, right? Whether in the body, out of body, I know not, like Paul said, right? But we're familiar with that. But I realize that it is a thing, right? And I realize that I am literally not my body. This is just the form that I'm in, or the vehicle that I'm in, that helps me operate in this realm. And it's really, really interesting. It's really, really interesting. Some of the experiences I've been having over the last few days, it really causes me to rethink everything, because you can go in and you can manipulate things and actually change it, or you can see things. And now I'm understanding some of the things that I would see ahead of time, and then days to come, it will actually play out just like that. It's like, how is that even possible? Right? Or you can ask yourself questions, and then you can go into the out of body state, and you can solve the problem and bring back the answer. You can even, if you've experienced something, you can literally just remember that experience or that time, and go back and observe what happened, and literally pull out information that you missed when you were actually in the thick of it when it was happening. Guys, it is really interesting, and I don't quite know what to say. I really don't. Like, my whole big toe is really adjusting, and it's bending a little bit more than what I believe last week. I'm just like, uh, you know, and it's only so many people you can talk to before they start thinking you crazy. But the only people that you can really talk to is those that have actually been doing it or practicing it, and know that you're not crazy, right? Because they've actually experienced it and know exactly what you're talking about. So if you go try and talk to somebody that's not in the habit of meditation and haven't actually experienced it, or don't even know what it is, they're gonna think you nuts, and they're gonna write you off. But we know it's true, like it's happening. Like, but the only proof that we can really, I don't know. It's ways that you can prove different things, but then to people that you're trying to prove something to that don't understand it, they would just think like you're psychic or something, or that the Holy Spirit and just gave you some revelation, divine revelation, or some revelation knowledge or something. And I realized that sometimes it's not even that. It's like, yo, I on purpose like went and I saw this. It's weird. I don't really know how to put it into words just yet. That's why I be like, have y'all started this yet? Like, because I'm like, this world that we live in, It's more than what we've been led to believe it is. And it's y'all, and if y'all haven't added Mr. Monroe's 3 books to y'all list to read, add that sometime, because it's chock full of everything that he did that he mentions here at the beginning of the book, and some of the things that he's getting into, and some of the terms. Mr. Monroe, he just give you like no holds bar, like every single one of his experience, everything that he could fit in that 3 book trilogy. And I'm about done. Like, I'm in book 3. I've been listening to it for days, just going through it. I'm like, yo, I know what you're talking about. I saw that. Like, I experienced that. So I know that's true. It is crazy. And I'm even debating now whether I want to read it out loud, that whole 3 book trilogy. But we still got a couple in line ahead of it. But that's what I'm saying. Y'all got audiobook. And I actually looked on YouTube yesterday, and a couple people have actually recorded. I didn't look for the second two, but the first book in full, it's like 10 hours. It's on YouTube. I'm gonna see if I can find all of them, just in case you may not have the funds to actually purchase it and download it from Audible. I'll see if I can find all 3 of them, and I'll post all 3 of them. That way you can at least hear it, if you don't have time to sit and read it. But I'm telling you, it'll help develop your understanding just a little bit more, right? So, but okay. All right, y'all. Global African, yes, on your watch. Let's see, watch it. Needle in the time stack. And when y'all see what I'm talking about, when if y'all been in a habit, and if you've been noticing different changes, like, wait a minute, what is what is really going on here? What are we really, right? It's going to cause you to start thinking about that stuff. And I'm just like, oh wait, okay, I'm not going to give it away. Okay, chapter 24, 2 concepts. And we're not going to get through all of this because we are already like an hour. So I read like a couple pages and then we'll pause. Okay, 2 concepts. The previous chapters should have destroyed the illusion of a quick and easy fix, leaving you with your feet firmly planted in the personal as well as the shared nature of reality. With your attitude, perspective, and focus now properly adjusted, let us get back to the job of developing a credible big picture theory of everything, or big toe. The best process that can be employed when exploring new theoretical ground is to: 1, minimize the number of assumptions required, and 2, simplify all remaining assumptions to the most basic level possible. Albert Einstein put it succinctly when he said, the grand aim of all science is to cover the greatest number of empirical facts by logical deduction from the smallest number of hypotheses or axioms. End quote. I think that Dr. Einstein would be proud of us. We are going to derive a comprehensive big toe that explains the empirical facts, mind as well as matter, philosophy as well as physics, the normal as well as the paranormal, conscious as well as concrete, by logical deduction from just 2 simple assumptions. And only one of those 2 assumptions is extraordinary. Theorists can build a complex speculative structure, but the foundation should be as simple and straightforward as possible. The first assumption, referred to as the fundamental process of evolution, is readily understandable and is well within our experience. The second, often called the absolute or the one source by philosophers and theologians, may require our spatially limited worldview and our cultural beliefs to stretch beyond their normal patterns. As it turns out, this one source is simply consciousness, primordial consciousness, the fundamental energy that is the medium of reality. If the concept of primordial consciousness cast into the form of a finite but practically infinite, monolithic, undifferentiated form of potential energy makes you feel uneasy, that is as it should be. You should remain skeptical of any premise and doubly skeptical of any mystical premise, even if logic demands that at least one mystical, beyond objective knowing from the physical matter of reality point of view, premise must be the base of any successful big toe. Things beyond objective knowing, from the physical matter point of view, are by definition things we cannot hold with a firm intellectual grip. If this concept fell within your objective experience, if you could be intellectually and rationally comfortable with it, it would no longer qualify as the mystical or metaphysical foundation upon which we could build a big toe capable of logically accounting for our beginnings, for mind as well as matter, for the paranormal as well as the normal. The fundamental process of evolution, along with the primordial consciousness, is as a fundamental source of structural energy, are the two basic assumptions on which my big toe is based. Let me go back and read that again because I didn't even understand that sentence that I just read. The fundamental process of evolution, along with primordial consciousness as a fundamental source of structural energy, are the two basic assumptions on which my big toe is based. Everything that follows will be logically derived and explained from these two fundamental assumptions. I am not asking you to believe in truth of these assumptions, nor to have faith in their correctness. I am not trying to start a religion here. These are the logical underpinnings of this big toe. They are assumptions, assertions, logical premises upon which the structure of my big toe is built. My big toe is a model. Its usefulness and the value of these assumptions is based exclusively on its ability to explain the data, period. Please reread the previous two sentences enough times to commit them to memory. By the end of section 6, you will have a much better idea about this reality model's usefulness and the potential correctness of these assumptions. And let me just say, if you're actually going through Mr. Monroe's books, whether you're reading them or listening to them simultaneously while we're going through this, I think it'll increase the radius of your big toe tremendously. It may answer a lot of questions, especially if you're already a person that has a lot of spiritual encounters or out of body experiences or dream a lot and just different things you don't quite understand. You just kind of chalk everything up to Yah revealing the information to you. I think it might be really helpful for you to go through those. It'll really help a lot, explain a lot of this that may not necessarily be clicking into place just yet for you. I'm telling you, it's helped me tremendously. Okay. The data or empirical facts, in Einstein's words, are any and all of the carefully evaluated experience or truth that you and others have accumulated about life and the nature of reality. Also, let me say this, don't feel overwhelmed by the information that I'm giving you if you can't get to it when I mention it. I'm a person that can take in a lot of information at one time. You may have to do it slow. You may not be as an audible learner as I am. You may have to do it another way. It could be slow, it could be fast, it could be just as fast. But I'm just saying, just take the references, and when you can get to them. Just write them down, put them on the shelf now. But don't feel like I'm overwhelming you with information, because that's not what I'm trying to do. Right? I'm trying to just incorporate it and give you little tidbits just in case you got some extra free time, or you going on a road trip or something and you want to listen to something. You just pop it in. So please don't feel overwhelmed. I'll try and explain as much as possible and break it down, and I'll begin to use some of the little snippets from there if we don't go ahead and add it to the reading. I think we might, but it's still like 2 books away. But I want to adjust it so bad just because it kind of okay, I think about it. The data or empirical facts, in Einstein's words, are any and all of the carefully evaluated experience or truth that you and others have accumulated about life and the nature of reality. These data come in two types: personal data that are unique to your subjective experience, and shared data that represent the objective physical experience of physical matter reality, the realm of physical matter reality science. If your personal data have been objectively evaluated and are unwarped by ego, attachment, belief, and fear, They can be used to either corroborate or invalidate this model. For this type of data, you are the sole judge, the only possible judge. Because of the personal nature of subjective experience, you can only be the judge for yourself. Shared data are also important. Physical reality and physical matter reality science must be an integral part of any big toe. We, after all, are at this moment interacting in what appears quite convincingly as a physical reality. No one can reasonably deny the importance or the necessity of physical experience, even if consciousness is at the core. Physical reality and its science must be a necessary, rational, and derivable part of the big picture. Furthermore, it is the interactions that take place in physical matter reality, as defined by our physical experience, that enable one to test and measure the objective results of an increased quality, decreased entropy of consciousness. MP, good morning. What is the first step to this? My mind is all over the place. Hard for it to stop ruminating. Okay, so let me ask you this: the first place in what? First place in meditating, because now I can like point you to a starting point now to kind of help you along. But I will point. Here's what I'm trying to do. Thank you, my uncle. I'm not sure if he came in. He was able to download the whole gateway process for me because I couldn't get it. He was able to download it so I can upload it to my YouTube channel instead of sharing somebody else's YouTube channel. Because one of them before they already like removed it from their channel, and I want to always have it because it's like our lab. It's part of our lab, and we like have to have it now. So he downloaded it for me, all 6 different ways and all individuals 6 different tracks. I'm working on before the weekend is out, getting it uploaded to both of my channels, this main channel and the backup channel, right? And put it in a playlist. That way I can just direct you to the playlist. So as long as my channels are still up, you can always have it. But for those who actually want it in their email so that they can possibly download it to their computer, email me and I will email it to you. That way you can have it. Just in case if my channel is taken down, and it's gone, you will still have it for your file. Save it to your cloud. But if you want it in an email, email me and I'll email it to you so you can download it to yours. Okay, meditating. I would say, okay, so if you were here yesterday, right, I would say reread over chapter 21, right, to kind of get you started with meditating, because that's where we're actually going through this. The next book that we're going to after this is actually entitled Meditation, but it's one from ancient Egypt, and it's going to break it down further. But while we're learning the ins and outs, just to kind of get you enough working information just to get in the car and drive it and understand a little bit, just to get where you need to go, I would recommend starting the gateway process. Reread the previous chapter. No, no, don't do that. Go all the way to the beginning of the book, right? The chapter where he first started meditating. It is, I think is I think it's the banana. Hold on. Hey Mister, chapter 2. Hey Mister, want to learn how to meditate? It's a really short chapter. I would say read chapter 2 and 3, or go back to the video. Matter of fact, both of those videos are back to back, chapter 2 and chapter 3, because they're really short. And it didn't take me that long to read it. So go back to that video if you want to. If you don't remember, if you have the book, go to chapter 2 and chapter 3. Read that. Then I would say jump into the gateway takes, because it's going to take you step by step, right? And that's where a lot of us are at now, those who are doing it. But some of us, it doesn't seem like anybody yet, out of everybody that I'm talking to that's doing it, nobody's made it to wave 2 yet, because we keep missing things, or you keep waking up in a certain track of a wave. Like somebody I spoke to yesterday, she can't seem to get past wave 4, and she keeps waking up in the same spot, so, and the spot that she's waking on, it's about fears, but she said, I don't have any fears, but something is preventing her from going forward. So I was like, you got to figure out what it is. So we just kind of throwing things around, different things I knew about, just kind of thought out, well, maybe this is it. Try this. Everything is good, but it'll keep waking her up. It's like she can't move forward because there's something inwardly that you have to deal with yourself that'll prevent you from, I think it just prevents you from growing. It just stops the process of growth, so to speak. And I thought that was really interesting on how that is working. So, but once you deal with it or realize what it is, it's like you can move ahead. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. It's like a mental, spiritual cleansing, so to speak, but it's walking you through it through like the process of meditation. So I'm putting in all of the videos since we started. Um, Actually, since we read the CIA document, because I went back and I put it in there in those videos in the description box and in the comment section, and it is definitely in the description box. If I forgot to pin it in the comment section at the top, it's always in the description box. All the way down at the bottom, you will see the gateway process. Go in there, click on the playlist, save it until I get it uploaded to my channel. Always check in the description if you can't find out where it is. Always check there because it's there. And I would say start there with the first video. Just kind of listen to the instructions. It'll kind of walk you through it. So that's what I would say. It's the first step. Just relax. So that's what I would say, MP. I would say that's where you start. I mean, if you've been here, and I think you've been here for a while, just where to start, where to jump in, just start at wave one, track one. It's kind of just walk you through. If you're still kind of scared because you're not really sure, I don't know. This is giving us the breakdown and data, but now that I've listened to just about all three of the book, well, I definitely listened to one, two, and I'm almost at the end of book three of Mr. Monroe, the one who actually designed the meditation program. I think that's very, very helpful. So if you still just kind of just let me get a little bit more information, if the religion stuff kicking in and you're not sure and you want to make sure you keep yourself safe, that's okay. Move as slow as you need to, but at least keep moving. I would recommend listening to Mr. Monroe's three books so he can tell you exactly what's happening. He goes into deep, strenuous detail about everything. And I think those books are friggin' beautiful. And I consumed them in the last few days listening to the Audible while I'm working and moving and driving and everything. Um, but like I said, I'll share the links from YouTube. I definitely know the first book is on YouTube recorded in its entirety. It's 10 hours, right? Break it up how you need to. I ain't saying sit there for 10 hours just to listen to it. But okay, you're welcome. So that's what I would say, you know. Okay, so where did I pause? Okay. And we're gonna stop in a minute. He has this little short aside. I think I'm gonna read through this. Oh, this is another long one. We may not get through all of that. Okay. Let me just read a little bit of it and then we'll pause in like 5 minutes. What we get? Okay. Physical reality and its science must be a necessary, rational, and derivable part of the big picture. Furthermore, it is the interactions that take place in the physical matter reality, as defined by our physical experience, that enable one to test and measure the objective results of an increased quality, decreased entropy of consciousness. Maybe we'll just pause right here. We'll pause. We'll pause right here because this short aside, I don't want to really break it up. I think I want to keep that in one reading. Okay, so we'll pause right here on page 183. What do I think about African spirituality? I think a lot about it. Um, there. Well, I know that there are different people online, talking about African spirituality. You got some people that are triggered by those words. I'm not triggered by it. I'm not even triggered by voodoo, right? Because I've learned a little bit about it. I didn't look into hoodoo, voodoo, all kinds of magic and everything. And now I'm kind of getting I'm getting the gist of everything that's happening and who's using what and how they're explaining what. And I get that some people are saying voodoo is a part of our natural inheritance and all this stuff. And I don't necessarily disagree with that based on what I understand about energy and the polarities between the good and the negative energy and all those different things, right? I just think that people who without getting into another whole conversation about whether we should or should not be using it, here's how I look at it now, based on my understanding of everything that I understand now, including voodoo. I think that there are certain tools required for certain things. Some tools get the house built faster than other tools. Some tools help demolish a house faster than other tools, right? You can go demolish a house with your hands and you start pulling off the cabinets and stuff. Some of you, I ain't using my hands. Let me get this sledgehammer. Boom, boom, boom. That's still going a little slow. Forget that sledgehammer. I'm coming in with the crane, my G. Everybody better get out my way. When I think about voodoo, I think about a crane, right? That's what I think about voodoo. Now, is it good or is it bad? That depends on who's driving the crane, right? As it is with working roots on people or using magic, hoodoo, whether you're mixing up herbs, it's neither good and it's neither bad. The whole point of the entire matter is who those raw materials is whose hands hold and are using those raw materials. That's what I believe. That's what I know it to be. It depends on who's using it. If you're a spiteful, malicious person, you just nasty down deep to the depths of your sha-na-na, then your voodoo, it's going to destroy everything in sight, right? Now, if you're good at heart, right, and deep down in your sha-na-na, and your life's motto is to do no harm, you may have to use some things that may be considered voodoo to other people, but you're not using it in a malicious manner. Example, think about Doctor Strange. Remember, and I always forget the the ancient, the bald head lady. I always forget her name. Her. Remember at the very beginning of the movie, right? When she had the rogue students that went and they ripped the page out of this magic book so they can contact their mamu, right? Remember them at the beginning, and then they literally trying to take over the world. They're trying to change everything. I would say because their intentions were, they were already rogue students, their intentions were wrong for what they were trying to do. I would say that magic in their hands would be considered as voodoo. But she, although it was, they call it the dark magic or the dark arts, the wise master, the bald head lady, she took what she knew, which is like the crane, right? It's like the crane of the magic or the crane of the hoodoo, voodoo, or whatever. You need something bigger to bring this back into balance based on what they are currently using, right? So based on what you're going up against will determine what you should use. And because they had already, the rogue students are already using voodoo, so to speak, and I get it. Just go with the example because I know they weren't black and they weren't in Africa. No, just go with the example what I'm trying to explain, y'all. Because they were using a higher type of magic, so to speak, she had to use something a little bit higher than what they had to bring it back into balance. Now, when you have students off to the side, like the ones who saw her using this, or your master is using dark arts, those who don't quite understand, they just don't understand. They're gonna be like, oh, you false teacher, you tell us not to use it, but yet we catch you out here using it against your rogue students. You don't understand what's happening, right? Because the magic that they took out of this particular magic book, they were going to create devastation. So she had to get some magic that was a little bit higher than what they already had, put them in the world of whatever you call that world is. It's like a trainer. She had to trap them in there in order to stop what they were doing. I look at it like that. So I don't get triggered by the word African spirituality or voodoo. I think those who are just like, oh, these, they doing this, and that's why they just don't understand. People that talk about it, that's something I learned. People who talk about a lot of different things and are always negative and telling you to stay away from it is because they themselves don't really understand what it's used for, what it's about, period. So those are my thoughts on African spirituality. And do you have some people, even in Africa, that talk about African spirituality and they're rogues at heart. And so they're giving you some bum information on what's going on. They're telling you how to use this to get back at your slave masters and all this. I mean, I get it. I get the anger and all that stuff. I mean, I really do, right? But that's how I feel about it, right? And I believe I'm a good person at heart, and I don't. Even though some people do me wrong, the first thing that I go to is not necessarily I'm gonna get you, right? Even if I know some things that can spiritually get you, I understand a little bit about the laws of the spiritual realm. I can't go do that and not expect something, especially if it's unfounded, right? Because I don't necessarily really know the intents of other people's heart, because they could have done something to me ignorantly, really believing that it was the truth, and I could have been offended by it, and now I'm pissed because you didn't did this. But although what you did was wrong, it was done in innocence. If I didn't know that you ignorantly did that in innocence against me, and I go back and I try to use something against you, it's going to backfire. Because what even in Proverbs it says, a curse without cause shall not alight. And because I didn't really know the intentions of your heart and why you did a certain thing, because you was misguided, if I don't even look at that, I can cause major devastation to come into my life because I didn't have full information on why you did what you did. So I tend to now just kind of step back. Even people in their ignorance when they do stuff, right? Because maybe you don't know. But if I'm made aware of the true intents of your heart by some divine premonition or whatever, if I'm not alerted to that, then I'll hold back. I won't try and retaliate against you, because it could backfire against me, especially if I'm lacking information. Those are my thoughts on African spirituality and voodoo. I don't have any bad thoughts, so I'm not going to even say anything bad about it, because you can use it. It's just like that crane of instruments that you could use to get certain things done, right? But you get it done in a spiritual realm. That's how I look at it. Do I use it? Nope. Because it's too powerful of an energy for me to be able to wield at this point in my life. I don't. I know how to use some smaller negative energies to bring things back into balance, but I won't touch that yet. Not that I'm saying that I ever will touch it, but I understand that it's a powerful energy that I really don't have the full understanding on. And I'm that's not my goal. A lot of people, when they go looking in the voodoo, they mad and pissed about something, and they ready to get back at somebody. Just give me some stuff so I can get her back, or I just you know I'll grow at the rate I'm growing now, and I'll leave energies alone that ain't messing with me. Right? Okay. Yeah. You're welcome. All right, beautiful people. So that's it for today. With that being said, let's go ahead and do this blessing. And I think Tootie Baby is still asleep. I tired them jokers out yesterday. And none of them came downstairs. I said, none. I ain't even heard them move around. They knocked out. Or maybe I spoke too soon. I just heard her scream. So maybe she is woke. She just ain't came down the stairs yet. But anyway, let's go ahead and do this blessing and get out of here. All right, y'all. So with that being said, but also when we get down, I think when it gets to these magic chapters and stuff in this Anunnaki Bible, I said I was gonna share some books with y'all that I had in my library by this one particular author. It's actually like it's a school of them, kind of, but most of them are written by this one particular guy. You will see some of that stuff in there, right? So I learned about a lot of this stuff going through here, and as I was reading through some of that stuff, I began to recognize different things when it's being used. Although I read and recognize it, don't mean I'm using it. I just want to be able to know if somebody using magic against me or against one of my loved ones, and if so, if I got the power to break it, how do I break it, right? But I ain't off just trying to do stuff. But I am making myself aware now that I know it absolutely 100% exists and it's being used even in commercials and movies. There are spells that are being cast when you're watching a lot of different things or you're hearing certain types of music, and I can recognize some of it now. So I want to be armed with information to defend myself and help my family defend themselves. So but I shared it with you, but some of the ones it is a few books in there about the dark arts, right? It's nothing but that, it's full of it. Now, when I got those, they didn't bring any kind of crazy spirits or no crazy happenings in my house, because I think he's a good teacher in the way he breaks it down and shows you how it's done. And it's still without even having to use all this extra stuff. Like, you ain't got to go find like a couple pieces of wolf's bane hair or get bat wings and crazy crap like that that some people actually use. It ain't none of that. It's literally teaching you how to use the energies and manipulate energy, the energy in your own body. You can bring in other people and use their energy together. It's that stuff too. They even got book on sex magic and how all of that operates and stuff. I'm like, yo, that is crazy. But when he shares it, he's not just sharing it from a Christian point of view. He's sharing with you everything and how it can be used in all different ways. Lifestyles that I don't condone, but it's all in there. I like it, it's there, but he's sharing it with you. So, just like when people have orgies and stuff, it kind of goes into the science on what happens there when they have orgies. And when I began to read about it, I was like, oh my gosh, why am I even reading this? But by reading through that, it helped me understand some of the things that was happening in the Catholic Church and what they was doing behind the scenes. It's filtered over into the church. I'm like, oh snap, this is what they doing, right? So it's a lot of pastors and stuff getting bust out for lifestyles and stuff that they shouldn't be living, whether it's with the opposite sex or same sex or with children or whatever. All this stuff is in there. Now, the pedophilia he don't really get into because they absolutely do not condone that and they are against it, but they will let you know that people use children because they believe the blood is innocent and they think they're going to get more power by using children. He kind of explains all that. I was like, oh, well, that makes sense. It's still disgusting, and I want to take people out of the world for doing those type of things. But he kind of explains it and what people are doing and their mindsets when they're doing these things. I'm like, man, and they really, I mean, it's certain energies that's generated. I don't, and it really, as we're going through my big toe, I think it really helps you to understand some of those things a little bit better because how it's breaking down, how we understand the consciousness and behind the scenes stuff, like all of those things. I don't know, it all just is making sense to me and why certain things are being done. Some people doing it ignorantly, don't know. Some people just being it's like sheep going to the slaughter. They just keep doing things because this is the way it's done, even though they don't know why it's being done. They just know it works, so they continue doing it. It's like all of that stuff. But when we get to that section, I'll share those with you. I don't think I want to give them to you just yet. We need to walk through some steps. Some of you may be able to handle it. Some of you may not. Some of you may just want it in your library just so you got it. So when you're ready to go look at it, it's there and you can pull it at will. But I'll share it when we get to that section. I'll share it with you. It's gonna be a few weeks until we get to that, but I'll share it with you. But I'm only sharing those with you because I think he's a really good teacher. How he breaks it down, and he ain't trying to tell you to do crazy stuff. And he even tell you even in the book of Enochian magic. That's not the title, but that's what it's talking about. It's talking about all the different books and the different ones and the different authors that try and go through and explain stuff. And he kind of gives you like the origin of some of the things and why the magic works the way it does from what they've understand all their years of testing and looking at things. Even I think the earliest was like the 70s. I mean, these guys are still around, but they call them no, that's not. What's the name of that? I'll give you the name of the school. It's called is it the Gallery of Magic. Yeah, that's what it is. I like them because of how they break everything down. So if you want to look up the Gallery of Magic, you can look into that. And I give you the author. Um Damon Brand. So if you're curious, if you already been looking into those things, I think that's a safe author. I give that to you. All right. So with that being said, beautiful people, shalom, Audrey, shalom, shalom. Let's go ahead and do this blessing, which is found in Deuteronomy. I'm not. not Deuteronomy. I'm gonna think about it. Shema. In Numbers chapter 6, verses 22 through 27. And Yahuwah spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Aaron and unto his sons, saying, On this wise ye shall bless the children of Israel, saying unto them, Yahuwah will kneel before us, presenting gifts, and regard us with a hedge of protection. Yahuwah will illuminate the wholeness of his being towards us, bringing order, and he will provide us with love, sustenance, and friendship. Yahuwah will lift up his wholeness of being and look upon us, and he will set in place all we need to be whole and complete. And they shall put my name upon the children of Israel, and I will bless them. All right, beautiful people. I love y'all. See y'all back here tomorrow morning, bright and early, 7:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace. Global African Shalom. Bye, y'all.